Now I'm going to talk about resource usage monitoring. Heapster enables container cluster monitoring and performance analysis. It's providing a monitor platform for Kubernetes. It is a prerequisite if you want to do pod autoscaling in Kubernetes. Pod autoscaling is going to be the next topic after monitoring. Heapster exports the cluster metrics via REST endpoints, so other technologies can then query Heapster to get the metrics. You can use different backends with Heapster. So a backend is where the metric data is stored. I will use InfluxDB, but others like Google Cloud Monitoring or Google Logging and Kafka are also possible. InfluxDB is a database that is fit for time series. That's why it's a good fit for our Heapster metric data. Visualizations, graphs, can be shown using Grafana. So with InfluxDB, we can also deploy Grafana. The Kubernetes dashboard that I showed you earlier, the web UI, will also show graphs once monitoring is enabled. You don't even have to use Grafana. You can just see the graphs in the dashboard as well. All these technologies, Heapster, InfluxDB, and Grafana, can be started in pods. The YAML files can be found on the GitHub repository of Heapster. This is the URL that I'm going to use in the demo as well. It's still the Kubernetes github.com account, but then there's another repo called Heapster. You're typically going to use the master branch because that is the most up-to-date branch. After downloading the repository, the whole platform can be deployed using the add-on system or just by using kubectl create -f and then the directory with all the YAML files. If you don't use the add-on system, if you're just going to deploy it using kubectl, then you need to make some changes in the files, which I will be explaining in the next demo. This is roughly how it looks like. This can change a little bit because there are still a few outstanding issues to make this a little bit more performant, and the Kubernetes team might make some changes. But this is on a high level how it's going to look like. On the right, what we are going to deploy is the Heapster pod, the InfluxDB pod, and the Grafana pod. The kubelet has a process cAdvisor, which is now in the kubelet, but it's going to be separate in the future. That's why I put it a little bit out of the kubelet. This is going to gather all the metrics from the pods and send all those metrics to Heapster. Heapster is then going to save this in InfluxDB, and you can then get an overview of those metrics in graphs using Grafana. So basically all the data goes from the kubelets to Heapster, and Heapster then saves it into InfluxDB. In the next demo, I will show you how to set this up.